The Kingdom of Bhutan is known as Druk Yul, the land of the Thunder Dragon. The country has been guided and nurtured by the leadership of the Wangchuk dynasty, unanimously enthroned by the people of Bhutan in 1907. Through the leadership of our 5 kings, Bhutan has made a smooth transition, transforming itself into a democratic constitutional monarchy, thus becoming the world's youngest democratic country. Guided by the philosophy of cross-national happiness and inspiration provided by the King of Bhutan, the government has decided that nature conservation policies are a vital element in protecting the country's forests and wildlife. Bhutan is part of the 10 global biodiversity hotspots in the world and has earned deep respect and appreciation for its vision in environmental conservation. This new park, commemoratively named the Wangchuk Centennial Park, has been established as a tribute to our monarchs for selflessly leading Bhutan and ensuring her sovereignty, stability, and tranquility.
Since the beginning of the plant development in the early 60s, Bhutan has always pursued a very enlightened and far-sighted policy with regards to its environment. According to our constitution, we are now required to maintain at least 60% of our geographical area under forest cover at all times. We are very grateful to the World Wildlife Fund for nature conservation. We are also hoping that our other partners like the Bhutan Trust Fund for Environment Conservation, the Global Environmental Facility, GEF, the United Nations Development Program, and also World Bank and other agencies will come forward to assist us in honoring our commitment to conservation and environmental protection.
WWF has been working here since the early 90s. The Centennial Park, which will join Jigme Dorji National Park in the west and the Bumdiling Wildlife Sanctuary in the east, will form a contiguous landscape that will connect the North Bank landscape in Assam and Arunachal Pradesh in Northeast India and the Kanchenjunga Conservation Complex in Sikkim and Nepal.
The Wangchuk Centennial Park, encompassing 3,716 square kilometers and connecting Jigme Dorji National Park in the west and Bumdiling Wildlife Sanctuary in the east, is the second largest park in Bhutan. Within the park are the sources for 4 major rivers of Bhutan. With hundreds of high-altitude lakes, numerous glaciers and higher mountains of the eastern Himalayas, almost 85% of the park remains under snow cover for the winter months. These water reservoirs and watersheds of the Centennial Park will be of vital economic importance regarding climate change and hydropower generation. As melting glaciers and glacial moraines oscillate, the pulverized rocks provide quality sand downstream for the construction industry and infrastructure development. Up to now, there have been few qualified people specializing in nature conservation. But today, as more people enter the field with greater expertise, they are able to carry out biodiversity surveys on their own. The Wangchuk Centennial Park is represented by 5 major vegetation types. They include the glacial moraines and meadow rocks, alpine meadows, alpine scrub forests of rhododendron, willows and dwarf juniper, coniferous forests of fir, hemlock, spruce and juniper, and cool broadleaf forests.
In terms of species listing, we have documented so far 244 species belonging to 51 families. And this list also includes 33 species of medicinal plants. In our Forest and Nature Conservation Act of 1995, there are 7 species listed under the Schedule 1. It is basically, giving the highest level of protection as per the government legislation. In many parts of Bhutan, like when you travel, especially through the valleys, Bhutan is sometimes known as the Valley of Rhododendron. And we have 46 species listed for Bhutan. And in this park, we have 18 species that has been recorded, through the plots that we have laid out so far. Given that we had a very short duration of survey work in the field, when you look at the species listing, the listed that we have put down as 244, I think it's quite high for a park like Wangchuk Centennial. And with more effort, there's a possibility that we will be able to quantify on the list.
The alpine meadow has the most colorful flowers of the vegetation types. Upon examining such indirect evidence as hoof marks, droppings, and salt licks, a diversity assessment of mammals were conducted. On occasion, direct sightings of blue sheep and pale mountain weasels were made. Interviews and personal communications were conducted with locals to gather information. In the park, 23 mammal species have been confirmed, including the snow leopard, the common leopard, and the Himalayan black bear. The other smaller predators found in the park are Asiatic golden cat, the leopard cat, and the yellow-throated marten.
In the last mammal survey that we have conducted in Wangchuk Centennial Park in the month of July to September, in the list of 23, there are a few charismatic species like snow leopard, common leopard, Royal Bengal tiger, and Himalayan black bear. And also, very interestingly, we have confirmed the presence of Tibetan wolf in Wangchuk Centennial Park. This is the park where only we have confirmed the presence of Tibetan wolf, and nowhere else in Bhutan the record of Tibetan wolf has been, recorded.
The national animal the takin lives in the lower alpine meadows, the juniper and fir forests, and the musk deer shares the takin's habitat, while the baral occupies the upper extremes of alpine meadows in the summer. Though Bhutan is small, it claims a wide variety of bird species. In this national park, originally 200 bird species were recorded probable in the park. The recent survey only recorded 134 species.
During the recent bird survey in the Wangchuk Centennial Park, we have recorded 134 bird species. This 134 bird species only includes those that breeds and are summer visitors to the park. I personally believe that the park will have more than 134 bird species. The reason being that Bhutan is a part of the Central Asian flyway for the migratory birds. And we would also expect some of the birds that will winter visit the park.
The park provides a natural habitat for our national bird, the common raven, as well as other beautiful birds that have been observed, like the yellow-billed chaff, the red-billed chaff, the Himalayan monal, and the blood pheasant. 2 new bird species were recorded during the recent survey. They were the Brand's mountain finch and the Tibetan blackbird.
In order to understand the socio-economic conditions and interaction between park and people, we have conducted a series of village meetings and interviews with park residents. The park covers 9 gyeoks under 5 songkhaks. The total number of households in park accounts to about 1,000 with more than 7,000 human population. There are basically 2 forms of park residents, with majority of people being agricultural farming. The agricultural farming consists about 800 households, and they are located at the periphery of the park. The remaining households, say about 174 households, are mainly dependent on yak farming. The park is considered hotspot for cordyceps collection, and after our royal government of Bhutan has legalized its collection and sale, it has immensely benefited the park residents, both yak herding community as well as the agriculture community. The other resource used from the park pertains to timber collection, firewood collection, and human-wildlife conflict in the form of livestock and crop depredation. As such, it is crucial that the park management work closely with community, songkhak, and other agencies in meeting community's aspiration, while at the same time meeting conservation objectives through integrated conservation and development program interventions.
Residents of the park thrive not only on farming, but in addition, 174 yak herders with 10,834 yaks earn their livelihood in this pastoral setting within this high alpine ecosystem.
Wangchuk Centennial Park has a great ecotourism potential because of its rich diversity of natural values and cultural heritage. Over the last 5 years, in average, 80 tourists have visited and trekked inside this park. People residing in and around this park are very receptive towards establishing community-based tourism in the future.
Two-thirds and the toughest part of the snowman trek traverse through the park. The panoramic landscape views, glaciers and glacial lakes, floristic richness and characteristic wildlife diversity serve as a central attraction to the visitors. Further, the existence of cultural and religious sites, especially at the exit localities of the snowman trek at Bhutan, continues to provide a spiritual feast at the end of the trek. The Tsachu, or the natural hot springs at Dur, is another hotspot worth visiting. Sachu has 7 hot spring water tubs which are believed to have healing capabilities of different ailments.
The Sachuti na durbi Sachu, the Sachuti Kenga Danga Vera, you be Lunjutsu Mimela, Damhulera, Sachuti, the Domlinangi Sachu, the Garuchu Duduki Sachu de Tidola now. The Sachuki Nalea Duru, Machitonga, Da Machi Drugi Hamna, Donha Keti, Donha Keti Nale, Jele, Sachu Dishu Dambadira na durbi Sachu.
While we know the importance of the park for its biodiversity significance, we realize that an increasing population and continuous development pose great threat and strain on our natural resources. Glacial lakes outburst floods triggered by global warming are a concern in the park. The 1994 flood of Lugetso has damaged large tracts of forest and downstream settlements.
Yani böyle dari yani bütün sosyalna mağazi yürü ya yürü dal böyle ma soğuk yaşadılar küçük sosyal dele ya dagina로 아가씨 땡sem이 지을라 dele de digi bunagi de tortomse da jani ge 같이 조들하니라 대한 남에서 bombe라 그냥 된다나 비리면서 내가 지금 있어 보는 돈 안 내배 유엔에 보디.
The ecosystems found in the park are adversely affected by serious pasture land management such as man-made forest fires and girdling live trees intended to opening the forest land for grazing. Due to limited alpine pasture land and increased cattle population, overgrazing in the alpine meadows is significant. Littering and cutting of dwarf junipers for night bedding by cordyceps collectors are emerging threats also expressed by the nomadic herders.
Nahita lo sum de matala anigi hematem de bedalo hamda dom de shushane bedalo khalam nu ani shasigilla na de khalam bevjin doedula tangagi do pura pundigi ma hokana su shay sidila.
They have turned it more like
Based on field observations and interactions with locals, direct threats to wildlife include poaching and retaliatory killing. Climate change. The other environmental threats include drying up of smaller glaciers and snow-fed lakes.
Rajine dangdi dazi mabewachin dele shin disu dap dele gano be bewachin dele te dat nachi chuye salu chukam dele ruchi dele shin di me darate sadi dingdumi dara shin ani ruchi dele te jadi se atribu dele rida semche disoete loji salu loji madi tinalo gato to da kitong to me gale machi misi mas narachira mimase dele semche disoete tinalo duima subigi kangire de bombera jungse junila dane beole tendigi be teta jungi yang nongadare mosingi tu gigonji lebe te pakki de dani be de shabagi ku jeni de inam samigi
For the smooth functioning of the park, the management has proposed plans to install basic operational infrastructure and human resources.
Towards this, the Nature Conservation Division of the Department of Forests have taken a couple of steps. First, we will establish the necessary infrastructure and put management in place. And then we'll initiate programs targeted at watershed management, at reducing the environmental impacts from various activities, and then also enhancing the economic potentials that are within the park. We will also conduct researches to assess the environmental impacts on the park from various anthropogenic activities. We would do watershed management programs, and we will also try to understand the ecological relationship between predators, prey, and people. And we would initiate very rigorous environmental education programs so that people in the park, people who pass through the park, are all educated on the values of this park and its conservation significance.
During the rapid biodiversity assessment, the Wangchuk Centennial Park exhibited mystic signs of colorful cumulus clouds and circular morning rainbows or halos. For all these mysticisms of the park, we offer our prayers. Buddha Dharma Gelo, let Buddha Dharma flourish. Wangchuk Geju Gelo, let the Wangchuk monarchy triumph. Gelyong Gaki Gelo, let gross national happiness prevail. Pelden Drukpa Gelo, let Bhutan remain sovereign.